I'm out at the Lighthouse today doing a couple tours, and I wanted to give you an update on the progress of our foundation restoration. The foundation restoration just started this week. We're able to do 2 of the 4 repairs that we need to do. And I wanted to walk you around the Lighthouse and show you what the progress is and show you which repairs we are selecting to do. We've raised a little less than half of the funds that we need to finish. We're not going to be able to finish this season just because of time and weather and funding, but we're really excited to be able to get the 2 most important projects checked off the list. So I'll head back to the Lighthouse here. I'll flip the camera around so you can see what we're looking at. So if you might remember, our final phase of the foundation restoration is a 4-part project. The 2 most critical phases, the 2 most critical projects are the base joint caulking, which you can see is that light gray. And you can see how thick that is. That is the actual width of that gap that was there. And that gap would allow water to get into the basement of the Lighthouse. We weren't having so much of an issue with it here. The primary issue we have is on this side of the Lighthouse, which is the south side. We're protected from the prevailing winds from the northeast by that breakwater, so we don't get too much wave action that hits us on this side. That breakwater absorbs that. We don't get very bad storms from the southeast compared to the northeast, but what we do get hits the end of the pier here, and the waves kind of roll along the pier here and splash up and get this side of the Lighthouse wet. We don't necessarily get rolling waves that actually come and flow over the pier. They hit the corrugated steel, splash up, and then the wind carries the water over. So we're kind of lucky in that aspect, that we don't have actual waves rolling over the pier like a lot of other places might. But even still, we do get water in the basement. So you can see the light gray strip. That's that mastic that was reinstalled to block that water from getting into the basement. The reason the stuff that was there before was removed was because it was found to contain asbestos. So that was removed in 2018 as part of asbestos remediation. Now the second part of this process that we're doing is we're sealing up these openings where we believe there were windows in the past. You might remember these had really rusty steel plates over them. And from the inside, quite a bit of daylight came out. And then the final bit of this process is over here. These are where the fuel oil tanks were installed in the 1950s before the pier was capped. These were also covered by steel plates, and they weren't as badly rusted, but we want to seal the foundation completely just to kind of get everything covered, make sure that we're all good to go. So these are also going to get those precast concrete blocks in them as well. This is the power cable that comes from shore, and you can see the fuel oil tanks in there as well. When the Lighthouse was built, this actually had a little door to it. You can see the window frame right there, or the door frame. And then when this was capped in the 1950s, that door was taken out, these 2 big holes were cut, these fuel oil tanks were slid in. At that point, the grade was about 3 feet less than what it is now, so the pier was 3 feet lower. And after those fuel oil tanks were in, the Corps of Engineers came in and pounded all these steel pilings in, reinforced the gap between, because at that point, before that, the pier was only as wide as the Lighthouse. So this just had a walkway that was attached to the side of the Lighthouse. There wasn't an actual pier here. The pier ended right here. So the Corps of Engineers widened the pier, reinforced the gap, and then poured a 3-foot deep concrete cap over everything. So if we go inside and take a look downstairs, you can see what that 3-foot cap looks like. So we're down here in the basement now, we see those two openings that face shore that are under the entry deck. And if you see the steel frame right here, this is the original level of the pier when it was built in 1912 right here. So this is the lighthouse foundation, or the pier foundation, I should say, and that this is the lighthouse. So when the tanks here were slid in the 1950s, these go all the way to the front side of the lighthouse. When the tanks were slid in the 1950s, this was the level of the pier. This was grade. So the Corps of Engineers then widened the pier and then put the cap on top of it, and then brought the level of the pier from here to here where it is now. So we're just kind of finishing this, we're going to seal up the holes that they made. And like I mentioned, there was a door that was in this opening right here. It was about this big. I'm not sure what they used it for at the time, but it appears on pictures and on building plans at that time from 1912. So that's all we're doing. We're just filling the gap. This was originally covered by steel plates. And we got a group of workmen out here who are just getting this done for us. We're really excited to have them. Here's the frame from that door. That's all that remains of that door. There's the cap. There's the pier. You can see the difference between the cap on the right and the lighthouse on the left. We'll go over here and take a look at these as well. I remember these were covered by steel plates as well, and they were really, really rusted. You can see daylight through them almost as much as you can right now. But obviously through the course of this repair, these will be filled, that top end. I don't know if you can see all the way. Yeah, you can. These tanks go all the way to that front wall of the lighthouse on the lake side. And this held fuel oil for the heater. We'll head back up the ladder.
Don't get your fingers in chaos.
Those of you who have donated already, we really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to accomplish these couple repairs in 2025 without your help. We were kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to get them out here this fall yet, and we're really excited to have them out here just to get these couple things done. The other two pieces that have to be done are the repairs to the actual foundation where the concrete's broken away, and then the entire foundation is going to have a two-part epoxy coating applied to it all the way around, and that's going to kind of seal in all the work that we've done. I'll put a link in the video description. Otherwise, you can head to our website to donate. That's Kewaunee-Pierhead-Lighthouse.org. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll keep you updated as the work progresses.